Meet Aldrich, once a man of faith, a cleric of the Way of the White from the icy city of Irithyll. He was entrusted with the sacred duty of guiding souls and preserving the light of the first flame. But Aldrich was no saint. Beneath his holy robes beat a heart of glutton, and in his soul grew a hunger so vast, so insidious, that it would consume the gods themselves. Tonight we unravel the story of Aldrich, a tale of faith, corruption, and a darkness so deep that even the heavens cannot escape it. This is not the story of a man, it is a chronicle of a devourer. Aldrich's story begins in piety, but it does not stay there for long. As a cleric of the gods, he was sworn to uphold the sanctity of life, but Aldrich's faith was no match for his appetite. He found joy not in prayer, but in the screams of the dying. He feasted upon the flesh of men, women, and even children, his unholy hunger turning his body into a bloated, melted mass of sludge. The man became a monster, and his name a curse whispered in the dark corners of Irithyll. When his crimes became too great to ignore, Aldrich was exiled to the Cathedral of the Deep, a place where stagnant souls were purified in sacred waters. But Aldrich was beyond salvation. The cathedral, once a haven of light, became a breeding ground for darkness. The waters of purification turned into an abyssal sea, teeming with rot and filth, and Aldrich, the ever-glutton, continued his feast. His victims were delivered to him by the faithful, convinced that their sacrifice would prolong the age of fire. But Aldrich had no interest in salvation, only indulgence. Over time, Aldrich's power grew, and so did his delusions. He dreamed of a new world, an age of deep seas where fire no longer held sway. To him, the gods were not divine beings, but the ultimate prey. And so, he turned his hunger to the divine. When the first flame began to fade, Aldrich was made into a Lord of Cinder, a title given not for his virtue, but for his strength. Yet even as he burned, his hunger endured. Aldrich did not see the flame as salvation, but as a means to an end. As the first flame continued to fade and Prince Lothric refused to link it, the Lords of Cinder of the past were rose from their graves once again to be used as fuel. As a result, Aldrich also rose from his coffin within the Cathedral of the Deep. With his newfound power, Aldrich returned to Irithyll, no longer the exile, but the conqueror. His goal was simple, to devour the gods and claim their power for himself. His first target was Allfather Gwyndolin, the last heir of the gods, hidden within the ruined cathedral of Anorlando. Aldrich slaughtered all who opposed him, knights, priests, and even the pontiff who once ruled the city. And when he reached the altar of Anorlando, he consumed Gwyndolin, his body withering as he absorbed the god's essence. No longer a man, no longer a cleric, he became a god-eater, a being born of gluttony and darkness. But even the gods are not immune to the blade of vengeance. When the Ashen One arrived seeking the Lords of Cinder, Aldrich was roused from his slumber. He fought wielding the power of the gods he consumed, but even his might was no match for the will of fire. And so, Aldrich fell, not as a martyr, but as a cautionary tale.